What's going on, guys? Angelo here, and welcome to my Let's Talk About That podcast. Today, we're going to be going over a bunch of things, actually. So, I hope you guys enjoy. So we're going to be talking about Galaxy Fold, the Samsung Galaxy Fold being delayed, as well as just my thoughts on what I think about the device itself and is it really worthy to the general public for us to be even using it. The next thing we're going to be talking about also is going to be West Coast Racers finally has some more track, as well as I went to Busch Gardens and I went there on the 27th of April this year, of course, and that was my first trip since 2 years. I even got to ride their new flat ride, which was Finnegan's Flyer. I got to go to the soft opening for that, as you all know. And like I said, we'll get into that just a little bit, but that was my first trip of the season. I did get the membership, so I'll be back there, of course, many more times after going this time. Man, I mean, we'll get into it later, but we'll also be talking about Yukon Striker, Maxxforce, as well as Kentucky Flyer 2, and what else? Oh, Cedar Point 2020. I just want to go over my thoughts of what they honestly could be getting, and I think that's about it. Oh, there is one other thing. I am going to be doing like a long daily rant, so this is going to be inside the podcast itself. I'll be just doing a daily rant that's longer that I don't really want to post, kind of like just for my series. So they'll be in here, so you have to listen literally to the podcast if you want to listen to the rant, the longer rant. For the other series, it's just going to be shorter rants. I'll have more coming soon. The other one I just did was over the shoulder restraints, so be sure to check that out. Try to leave it in the link in the description if I remember. But yeah, all right, so the Galaxy Fold, Samsung Galaxy Fold, the delay of it didn't surprise me. Again, mechanics in just a cell phone or smartphone period causes for issues, bottom line. I remember even when we had the QWERTY keyboard, you would get dust inside that, and of course it had just the smallest spaces on smartphones where you're using mechanics and whatnot causes for problems. So you just have to keep in mind that. I think the device itself, it's a great idea. It's basically what Unbox Therapy was saying, Lou said, is that it's mainly more of really a tablet that turns into a smartphone, but at the same time it's like the phone itself is also a tablet. So I don't really know what you really could truly call this besides what we call it now, it's just a foldable display. And I think it's like gimmicky, but at the same time it's like once you see it in real life, it's almost like, you know, this honestly makes sense, but we'll see where it goes. I think that Samsung is taking a good approach from not allowing people to purchase this, because this could have caused for some catastrophic problems, as well as them end up losing money on the back end. So I think they see that they need to fix the problem before, if anything, they want to even sell this to the people. So I think they are doing a good job with that. It's cool that they are being like basically the first ones, because they really are the first ones. And then Huawei made their own, which is I think it's like Mate X or something. I can't even remember the name of it, but basically that one looks really cool too. But again, they're both going to have problems. There are the first generations of basically foldable smartphones, and you know, it's good that they're trying though, because now we know this is some of the stuff that we need to look for, that these devices are definitely going to be more fragile than your average smartphone. I mean, you literally can't even use Gorilla Glass with these things yet. It's literally generation 1. We have a long way to go with foldable smartphones, but I do think that this could work. Finally, we have something new and something different within the technology age. It's amazing to see that we're at the point in time now where we literally have a phone that we're folding in the palm of our hands, which is just crazy. So moving on to West Coast Racers, yeah, Six Flags, man. This is supposed to be a summer opening. That's what they said. The deadline is apparently now supposed to be in like November when it has to be done, which if it's not done by then, you need to go ahead and just cank the project at that point, because like, I don't even know what to say. Like, you might as well just say it's going to open next year for all that. Here's what I think. I think they're moving very slow. And of course, in California, they have a bunch of state laws and whatnot regarding building properties and building buildings on their land and whatnot. So that's probably their main focuses and why. And they're not really telling the public about what's really going on besides, hey, we got some more track, or we're putting footers down and whatnot. And I just saw a video from Park Bros that he showed off that from someone that he knew, or he doesn't even know. It was just like an anonymous person that sent it to him. We were able to just see some of the footage from the track and whatnot. So it's good to see that they are doing at least something. I think this coaster it's going to be awesome. Obviously, it's going to be really cool, but I don't even think Six Flags will probably duel it for that long or race it that long. So yeah, that's a quick update on that though. So Yukon Striker, it had its media day last week. I think everything went pretty well, as they also showed off a new loose article technology, which I think a lot of parks need to get this if it does work. Now, my only question is like, what if this breaks down, and what are you gonna do then? Like, where are you gonna get your stuff at if this thing breaks down? Like, that means there has to be like a mechanic on deck. There has to be like a mechanic on site of the ride, like 24/7, to make sure this thing doesn't break down. But you know, I think it could work. I think it's a good idea. You know, when I went to Busch Gardens actually, and I rode Tempesto, of course, they won't let you wear any glasses, even with the strap. They're like, put that thing in a fanny pack. And, you know, that way actually was pretty smart though. Like, they allowed you to put your phone and other small items in there, which I thought was really cool, because if you just bring like your wallet and honestly like you're wearing sunglasses or something, or like a small hat or whatever, that's a pretty good option. Just put it in the fanny pack and then get on the ride, and then after you're finished with it, you put it back in the little bin they had, or the bucket they had. So like I said, there's a bunch of ways. The way that Kings Dominion is doing it now with the loose article thing for like Twisted Timbers is just crazy. And on a side note, really quick, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I guess I'll talk about it now. Kings Dominion, I don't know why they even thought of allowing people to even try to put their phone in the pocket and just like put it. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know why Cedar Fair thought that this was a good idea, but now we're at the point where we have to have a metal detector that says, hey, you have something in your pocket. Let me stamp your hand. I think it's just pretty crazy that we're getting to that point with loose articles. It's like, if you don't have zipper pockets, bottom line, put it in the pocket behind your legs. I don't understand why people just, and they literally say it like 10 times when you're in the station. It just irks me so much. Like, they literally tell you, put it in the zipper pocket behind your legs. And they'll say it from time and time again. And people are just not paying attention, and they're just listening, or they're talking to their friends or whatever they're doing. They get on the ride, and then you have to unlock restraints and whatnot. It's just, it causes so much. The cycle times and whatnot make everything longer and whatnot when people do that. So that's just one of the complaints I really have right now with that loose article system. Do I think it'll last? There's no way this is going to last I don't think it'll even last to probably like maybe fall. It might, but I'll definitely see them changing this in the near future for sure. But yeah, back to Yukon Striker though. It looks like a pretty good dive coaster. Everyone says it's like the best in North America now. The only one I've been on has been Griffin. I love Griffin. I love the dive coaster concept and everything. It's so awesome. I love it. The fact that you can just like sit and look at kind of like this the surrounding area and whatnot just for the few seconds is just so cool. And then they just plunge you down. Oh, that's what I'll talk about. In fact, it's gonna be a rant actually. It'll be a small rant, and it's actually on Cedar Fair's color scheming for the coasters. So I'll go over that really fast. The color scheming, I don't have a problem with the rustic vibe and whatnot, with all of like the wood and whatnot. But you know, there comes a time it's like, do you guys know any other color besides rusty, orangish brown color? Like, Cedar Fair has literally came out, almost every ride that comes out has been either like a brown track or some rustic track. Look at Copperhead Strike, you got Twisted Timbers, Steel Vengeance last year. Hang Time was like the only coaster that literally had a color scheme to it. I'm just so tired of seeing the brown color. Like, I'm convinced that they're trying to make every park have one of these brown type of color tracks. Like, watch Kings Island, apparently Giga. We'll see what that happens with that, but like, watch the color be like some really wooden brown color. I'm just like, I'm so tired of seeing that. I hope they get something bright, something that just lightens up the vibe and whatnot soon. I feel like it also costs less too, but that's probably like one of the reasons. Maxxforce is actually almost done. I think it's like complete. It might be almost complete at this point. The trains are on site and everything. The trains have been on site for a minute now, but yeah, Maxxforce is doing well. So I think they're set to open like Memorial Day weekend. I'm pretty sure they're going to make that. Steel Curtain, at Kennywood. I don't even know. They're like replacing parts of the track because some of things were off and whatnot. I think they might open on time. We'll see. It might be like a slight delay. But this stuff happens though with construction and whatnot. There's always weather and stuff that if you don't get the measurements right, you have to go back and redo it. So yeah, Kentucky Flyer also had his media day. I kind of wish I should have just asked to go to that. I've always wanted to go to Kentucky Kingdom. Of course, they have Storm Chaser and Lightning Run and whatnot, but I've always wanted to go there and just check out the park to see how it is. It's a small like family type of park, but they finally got a new, or not really finally, but they got a new roller coaster by manufacturer company Gravity Group. They make Mind Blower. They did the Oscar's Wacky Taxi at Sesame Street or Sesame Place or whatever in Pennsylvania. What else? They also did, I can't even remember them off the top of my head, but they've done a nice amount of coasters. Not like crazy or anything like RMC or anything, but they make a bunch of wooden coasters. So. But their restraint system is also pretty nice on, for the most part, all of their rides have a really nice restraint system. And this was no exception. But from what I heard, it seemed like a really good family ride. It looks like it would definitely be a great first ride for like a kid or something. It looks like it hauls butt. Even though it goes 35 miles, it probably does not feel like 35. It looks like it's going about like maybe 45, 50, honestly. The airtime moments look really good. I think this wooden coaster is going to age well. I like the color scheme in it. They did like white supports with like normal, just raw wooden track, and then the railings is like red. And I love the train. The lead train at the front looks amazing on Kentucky Flyer. I think they did a phenomenal job with that. So hopefully I will be able to get out there one day. I don't think it'll be this year. Maybe it will. I don't think I will be able to get out there because I'm going to definitely try to get up to Dollywood as well as Cedar Point. Those are my main two I'm really trying to get to this year. I've always wanted to go to Cedar Point since I was little, and I remember seeing Millennium Force when it came out, and then they got Top Thrill and everything. So that's been on the bucket list for a long time. So I hope that I will be able to go very soon to Cedar Point. Dollywood, oh man, their tickets cost so much and I don't have any pass to get by it. So I'll just have to try to use Groupon or something to find a sale. But Lightning Rod, that's basically the main reason I'm trying to get there, honestly. I know they have the Wing Coast. They have a lot of just straight good rides. There's like no bad ride really there. Everyone I've heard has said the park is beautiful. It looks great. It looks even better than Busch Gardens. That some people say that. So I definitely want to check it out. I would love to just get some footage and whatnot and maybe just stay there for about like 3 days or so. I should be going definitely to Hershey Park very soon. Probably like in like the next 3 weeks I should be heading up there. It's like a 3-hour drive for me, so I definitely want to get up there and go to Hershey Park for about 3 days. I know that's more than enough time to finish everything. I'll definitely get Fast Pass on like the Saturday. So yeah, so my main topic for today, talking about Busch Gardens. Finally got my visit down there. I literally purchased the pass at like 1 in the morning and went down there. I drove down there, like I started driving at probably like 10 or whatever, or not 10. I left the house at probably like 11 and got down there at like 12 something, like 12:30, 12:45. Literally only like an hour and a half there, less than an hour and a half there with no traffic. Yeah, let's talk about my visit. Overall, I'm in love with this park now. The food was good. Operations were pretty well. Most of the operations were good, and lines were literally at like almost full queue, and I actually used the quick queue. I just paid the $10, which I think is something every park needs to get, where you can just pay for like the Fast Pass or whatever just for that one ride. I think that's a great idea. So I hopped on there, did front row, and best part is that they even let me film every single ride. And I'm about to get to Finnegan Flyers in just a little bit, and I'll tell you about the story about that I have. This park was amazing. Like the scenery, as soon as you walk in, first of all, it's just like park's clean. You don't really smell any cigarette smoke. Like when you go to Cedar Fair Park, you go to Kings Dominion, they have designated areas, but the designated areas are in probably the worst area possible, so you still get that secondhand smoke smell, which I hate. I don't have really a problem with the vaping and whatnot, because most of the people who vape, they have flavors like milkshakes and candy apples and whatnot, like, or cotton candy or something like that, so they smell good. Like I don't really have a problem when people are doing like the vaping, but the cigarette smoke, man, it kills my lungs. I don't know about anyone else, but it kills my lungs. But yeah, like I was saying, the park was really nice overall. Scenery and everything was good. The flowers were in bloom and everything. It's spring. It felt perfect outside. It was like probably 75 75 degrees. It was perfect weather. I didn't even like really sweat or anything. So it was a really good day. I rode Alpengeist for the first time in front row, which was awesome. It was very smooth, but I will say the mid-course brake run was the roughest part of the ride. And on top of that, it basically came to a full and complete stop. They might as well just had stopped us on the brake run, for crying out loud. Like, it was almost a full stop. So that was the roughest part, but everything else about it, it was awesome ride. I love inverts, so I definitely would say this is better than Afterburn. I mean, I guess you can say Volcano was an invert coaster because it technically is, but it's a launch invert, so I don't really want to compare it to that. But yeah, I would definitely say overall it's probably like my number one for invert coasters. So yeah, the only thing I didn't ride, and I kept trying to figure out what is the coaster that I need to get on, what's that ride? And then like right at the end of the day, I realized I was like, oh crap, I needed to ride Loch Ness. And I'm not really a fan of the Loch Ness ride. I think I love the historicness and like the nostalgia and everything of it, but I don't know. I had a bad experience on mine. There was no room. It wasn't that the ride was like crazy rough or anything, but I don't know. It just felt, it doesn't go too fast. Like, I don't know. The chain lifts are slow. That's just me. I'm just really not a fan of aero coasters in general. I haven't been on really a good one yet that I can say that was good, besides like Carolina Cyclone, and that was decent. I did front row and it was rough then, obviously, too. I had a great day at the park, like I was saying. I rode everything there. I rode every single ride besides the flat rides. As you all know, though, Finnegan's Flyer will be opening May 3rd. I'm filming this, or not filming, I'm recording this audio on April 28th, 2019. So I'm going to try to get this out to you guys probably by like Thursday for sure. Yeah, but Finnegan's Flyer was awesome. So I'll tell you a story really quick. Someone had DM'd me on Instagram the night before and was like, hey, I know a higher up told me or whatever that they're going to be soft opening tomorrow. And I was like, okay, cool. Man, we were there like literally he was there earlier than me. He was there probably at like 11-12 when the park almost had just opened, and they were already testing it then. So they were testing it the whole time during the daytime. Then they opened it up to employees. Employees got to ride like crazy. They were just hopping on the thing back to back to back, and they got probably the most rides than anyone else there. But yeah, I'm just looking at this thing like I've never ridden one of these before. It's a S&S Screaming Swing. So what happened? Okay, yeah, I'm in Apollo's line. It's this like literally like 6:30, 7 o'clock when someone else messages me and is like, hey, it's open now. Like Finnegan's Flyer is soft opening. And I ran out of Apollo's line. I was about to film a back row POV. I already have one, but I was going to do one in like a better 4K version or whatever. And I got out of line. And after that, I was like, I just hauled. I had to go all the way from Fiesta to Ireland. I know that sounds like it's long, but it turns out it's not really that long. The park's actually smaller than what you think on the map. So yeah. But yeah, like I'm running, or not running. I'm more like walking really fast, faster than what I normally walk. So those of y'all who don't know me or haven't seen me walk, I walk probably faster than the average person would for sure. It's basically like me jogging it, and it feels like I'm walking though. Like it doesn't feel like I'm walking fast, at least to me. So, but if you see me, you're gonna be like, that dude is like literally running. But I'm not though. It's just I'm just trying to get those steps in, you know, trying to get those miles. Anyways though, almost tripped going down their steep hill. Because at that point I honestly was jogging, because I was like right at the bridge before you get to the Finnegan Flyers area, and I saw people on it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I just hopped in line. There was basically nobody there. There was a lot of people on the bridge area, mainly just filming and looking at how crazy it was. But I was like, let me hop in line, and they allowed me to film it and whatnot. But right before I enter the ride, a security lady is like, hey, by the way, you got to put your bag in a locker. And I was like, what do you mean? What? Like almost every flat ride I'm on, of course, when I go to Kings Dominion, it's just like, okay, put it in the bin. And I totally forgot. I already had the all day locker. I just forgot. And I had to run past the Battle for Ire up to like this locker area that I guess somehow there was a locker area there, and I wouldn't put my stuff in the locker. After that, I was actually running, and nobody really even cared. It was funny. Like they weren't even caring. Like they saw like I was wearing my shirt or whatever, and I do have a shirt now. They're not for sale yet. Let me know if you guys want me to sell them. A lot of people keep asking me about the shirts, so I might even just start selling it. I was gonna wait till like 10,000 subs, but you know, let me know in the comment section below if you want the shirts or not. But yeah, so I hopped back in line. Lady lets me get back in my spot and whatnot. In fact, someone else had saved my part in line for me, so you know, big thanks to them, because that was a long line. The operator decorations were pretty good. Like, even though it was a new ride and they were trying to like make sure everything was safe and okay, overall they were getting people through, and it fits, I think, 32 riders, 32. So it's like a little bit under what Delirium would be, and Delirium does 40, but Delirium is so tight that you have like no room. In fact, really, while you're in line, you see a lot of people are just like in awe about it, because the ride looks taller than what it is. Like, it's 80 feet, but the way they built it is that there's like this terrain to it. And in fact, if you look in, like, when you see like the on ride or off ride video, I don't know if I have posted it yet, but it's literally running right now as I'm recording this. You can see Griffin, Loch Ness, and Alpengeist all in the background. It was pretty cool just to see that. It was like sunset and all the stuff was running, so I definitely got some footage for y'all, and I hope you guys liked the video. But yeah, it's basically a giant swing though, so it was really fun. We get on the ride, they open up the gates, you sit down, and the strengths for it are definitely new. They're not like the ones you would have on what's that ride called? I can't even remember the name of it, but like the ride at Cedar Point, or the one that people talk about, I think it's at like Dorp Park or something, Rush or something like that. The restraints are newer, so the way you lock in is like, it's really hard to explain. Like, when you see the video, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. But basically, like, it kind of like snaps in to like your waist area, and you have a bunch of room. Basically, you lock in the seatbelt, and then after that you push down. The ride operator will push it down for you, and she literally will ask you, or he will ask you, do you want it tighter or anything? And I was like, no, that's perfectly fine. So I was able to get a bunch of air, and it was a really fun ride. The restraints are good. Was able to put my hands up. I sat towards the station, literally facing the station area, on the orange one, which is the right side. And let me tell you, I got one ride on it. One ride. That's all it took for me to say that this is the best flat ride that I've been on, period. That ride was awesome though, you guys. Like, it was fast. The duration of it, the ride cycle was longer than what most flat ride cycles are. Like, it feels like it's definitely worth the wait, and I think a lot of you all are gonna like this ride. It's definitely a great addition to Busch Gardens for sure. And then Busch Gardens, of course, is gonna be they're literally promoting it on the map, by the way, that they're gonna be getting a coaster, or not a coaster, but they're saying in 2020 that something is coming on the map. So obviously that we know from what we saw from BGW fans, so shout out to them. But from what we saw is that it's going to be a coaster, and it's going to be pretty big. Like I said, the more and more I talk about this park, obviously I've been talking about it for a minute now, it's just an amazing park. Like, they're doing everything right. The all-day lockers, they're at every ride location essentially. On top of that, they have the fast lane and everything right. Like, the fast lane doesn't even cost that much. It's like $45-50 tops usually on a heavy day. Their membership, I know a lot of people are kind of upset who had like the season pass and whatnot, but the membership is honestly the best deal you're gonna get. You literally can pay for, like, they have so many options where like you can do preferred parking and get 15% off and like some extra other stuff, or you can do like free general parking, or you can get 50% off parking. It's like they have all these options for the membership. I think it's really cool that they give you the option to do all of that. So it's like, hey, we're giving you all these options, just choose one. We want your money. And I chose basically I just did one park. I don't think I'm gonna go to Water Country like that. I think I'll go like one time just so I can ride the water coaster. That's not something that like I do. I don't really do water parks like that. I will say though, Water Country USA is better than obviously Soak City's at King's Dominion. So yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, Finnegan's Flyer was awesome. I had a really great day at the park. I did do a vlog, which is gonna take a minute to edit because I also have to do like a bunch of other POVs. I love that they allow you to film. Like, let me tell you, they need to get this like effective at like all parks. Even Cedar Fair needs to get this, where it's like, okay, if you have a real harness, or if you have some type of like restraint or wrist strap or whatever you have, I think they need to allow it so that if you have like a GoPro like I do, I think they should just give you like a card where it does say like, hey, you have access to do this. Like, okay, he can do this. He has the right equipment. He has the right safety equipment to do this. And it also helps them on their part to get even more marketing. So, you know, I think Busch Gardens, the way they did their stuff was pretty amazing. And, you know, I really like this park though. Like, the food was good. I don't really have any major complaints besides like, you do have to pay to get in this. Like, it's pretty expensive to get into the park. Like, if you're just coming just to come, but they even have a fun pass for you. So you can't even really complain that much. Like, it's a great park. I met a lot of people from just out of state because it was like spring break or whatever. And our spring break was like in early April. But yeah, had a great day at the park. Definitely will be back soon to finish filming a lot of other stuff, and then I'll keep probably going, but I'll just go to honestly just have fun and meet up with some people down there. Really enjoyed seeing some new faces and whatnot. I was telling people about the channel. A lot of people were just like, as soon as they saw the GoPro, they were like, oh snap, that's so cool. Now talking about 2020 real quick, obviously this is going to be the big year for roller coasters, just period. This is basically, I kind of just see this as like the next generation of roller coasters. That's what I look at it as. These coasters are going to be the ones that we're going to remember for sure, where this was the start of a new decade of coasters. So that's what I look at it as. Like these coasters that we got this year are basically the last little bit before we get this new generation and whatnot, because you saw like the GCI model, it had a daggone corkscrew in it from IAPA and whatnot. If you haven't seen it, there's various videos and IAPA tours and whatnot that you can look up. Do I think that Cedar Point is going to get a 500-foot coaster? No. One, because the guy even said they're not trying to really do that yet, but I do think they have something up their sleeves for sure. It's going to be unique, and it'll probably be a big coaster again though. Not as big as like Still Vengeance, but it's going to be a unique type of ride, I'm pretty sure. We'll see what they do though. This was kind of an off year for Cedar Point, mainly because like they just got like this frontier city or whatever thing. I think it's a cool concept because I know what Cedar Point is trying to get at. They're still like the thrill capital of the world, obviously, or the roller coaster capital of the world, but I think what they're really trying to get at is more of the guest experience, and that's why Busch Gardens does it so well, because they have the theming and whatnot. Like that's what most people honestly come to the park for. They're like, we want to see something that intrigues us, not just that's a crazy ride or whatever. Like most people know Cedar Point for like roller coasters, but I think Cedar Point wants the guests to know them as like a roller coaster park, as well as like, wow, they also do some amazing other things. Like, and that's why I think they got what they got this year. Like I said, I think it's a good idea, and they have a good strategy up their sleeve. Only thing is like, I wish they would do this with every Cedar Fair park. With that being said, I guess I'll save the daily rant for last, but I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Kings Dominion's Volcano. So there's a new sign. If you didn't know, now you know. There is like 2 new signs currently. One is located where the entrance to the ride was to get in. It literally says Expeditions on the horizon. And there's a lot of things in that picture where it's like kind of skeptical, like what could honestly be coming there. I don't want to say that this is a teasing campaign has already started, but it could be. They might really be like, hey, we need to get these people like a ride or something, because they already know that this ride was probably one of the biggest attractions for Kings Dominion, period. Like the mountain is going to be down literally by like in 2 weeks from now. I'm pretty sure the mountain's gonna be gone. The other sign is located where it's like just a dead end by Scrambler, that little area. That's where the other signs. But yeah, they say Expeditions on the horizon. It shows like giraffes and like elephants, some birds in one there as well. So a lot of people were speculating a lot of different things. Wing coaster, or this is gonna happen in like 2021. There was a lot of things. I myself am not really looking too hard into it right now, but I do think this does mean that they are trying. Like they are trying, and they see and they know that this was a big attraction. So yeah, but yeah, Finnegan's Flyer opens May 3rd, as well as you also have Firebird, which will be opening in just a couple more weeks. I think it's set for like Memorial Day or right before Memorial Day. So I definitely want to get up there for sure to try to check out that ride. Like to see the difference from Apocalypse to this. It would be nice to see what they did. The new color scheme looks pretty good as well, but they took out a lot of the theming that was with Apocalypse. Sorry, I haven't been doing podcasts like I normally do. I usually do one every 2 weeks. I've just been really busy, not even with work. It's mainly like, well, I guess you can say it is work now, but I've been working on so many videos for you guys. It's like trying to just keep up. So when I do these podcasts, it'll just be kind of random now at this point. And you know, if I have time, I will definitely do one, because I know you guys like listening to my voice and listening to my also thoughts and going in depth and whatnot. But let's go ahead and do this daily rant. This one is for Kings Dominion. All right, so this is literally just about the park as whole, and I guess you can kind of say it's on Cedar Fair. Lately, Kings Dominion has just been getting on my nerves. Not the coasters or anything. It's just Kings Dominion, like the park itself, some of the stuff they're doing. It doesn't have anything to really do with Volcano being removed. I understand. I get why they had to remove it. I get it all the way. The new stuff with the loose article and whatnot, they got to figure out a new way. to get this stuff right. This is crazy, you guys. Like, operations have slowed down so much for these. The thing is that we have the lockers now, and they haven't even really, they've helped a little bit. I will say they have helped get some of the duration down, but if we still had the bins, it honestly wouldn't even made too much of a difference. But it has made a difference. I will say it has helped at least a little bit, especially on Flight of Fear. That had been needed lockers, honestly. That was like the one ride that needed them. Getting back to my point, it's just like lately the operations and whatnot have just been ridiculous. Like, when I mean ridiculous this time, I mean ridiculous in a bad way. Like, literally I was sitting on the Intimidator train for probably like 5 minutes before they had finally said all clear. Like, that's crazy. Flight of Fear's operations have been getting better, I will say that, but because, no offense to any other big people out there, but why in the world are you guys getting on this ride and you know good and well that you ain't about to fit? I don't think people realize, like, that slows down the operations so much. Like, they have to because the ride is so old, they can't just unlock one car or whatever. They have to unlock all restraints and relock every one of us back in the seat. So it really just causes a bunch of problems. And then the being short staffed, you can't really blame them for this one, but it's almost just like, why the world are we even open? Why did y'all even open the park? You're not really fully staffed like you need to. Lately it's just been mad packed. I don't even know how. Like, it's been packed, and I think it's made, like, the park is more packed because I think they're less staffed. It just seems like they're more packed, so nobody's able to really go to all these places. Everyone's just mainly in Safari or either Candy Apple. That's basically the live spots now. Nobody's really in Old Virginia, like, or the International Street area. Of course you have Planet Snoopy, and I think that's where they're honestly making the most money at, is where the kids are coming in and whatnot. Twisted Timber's operations are just, I can't even I can't even with the operations. They try some days when they're like ready to go home and like the park's about to close, they start hurrying up, and like they'll get about 1:15 operation, that's pretty good for RMC, but like usually it's around like 2 minutes plus. And some, like, again, and this isn't really their fault, it's mainly like RMC for developing the restraint system for that ride, but like some people won't fit and then they have to get off the ride and whatnot. It's just, there's little things that Kings Bean just needs to work on, especially after going to Busch Gardens. Now I get why people are just like, I would definitely rather go down there. It makes sense now. But that's been today's daily rant, as well as that's been today's podcast. I hope you guys did enjoy this Let's Talk About That podcast. I really enjoyed this one. I got a lot of stuff off my mind, so I hope you guys did enjoy. Like I said, remember, let me know in the comment section below if you really do want the search or not. I can get that set up ASAP if you really want me to. I have a bunch of videos coming, a bunch of POVs, bunch of just random videos, also food reviews and whatnot. Got a lot of stuff coming to the channel very soon, so stay tuned for that. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know also in the comment section below what you really want me to do next, and you know, maybe I might do a little part in the podcast. Let me know if you wanted me to do like other topics or something fun in the podcast where I can interact with you guys a little bit better. Remember to follow me on social media to stay up to date with everything that's happening, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And don't forget to enable post notifications to stay up to date with everything that's happening on the channel. And until next time, you guys, peace out.